Imagine this for a second. You're 52 years old. You've worked hard for decades. You did everything right. You saved consistently, invested wisely, and built a retirement account worth nearly $2 million. You're exhausted. You're ready to walk away from your job and finally live your life on your terms. But there's one problem. You can't touch your money. Not without losing a massive chunk of it to penalties and taxes. So now you're stuck, not because you don't have enough money, but because your money is locked in the wrong place. If that sounds frustrating, hit like and subscribe, because what you're about to learn could save you years of your life. For years, we've all heard the same advice: max out your 401k. And to be fair, it's not bad advice. A 401k gives you tax advantages, employer matching, and long-term growth. On the surface, it looks like the perfect retirement tool. But here's the part nobody really explains. If you want the option to retire early, relying only on your 401k can actually create a serious problem. You end up building wealth that you can't access when you need it most. That's the hidden flaw in the system. And today we're going to break it down in a simple way. More importantly, we're going to talk about a strategy called the bridge account that solves this exact problem, the real problem with 401k accounts. Let's go deeper into that earlier example. You've got $1.8 million saved. You only need around $65,000 per year to live comfortably. Financially, you're ready to retire. But because your money is in a 401k, you can't just withdraw it freely. If you try to access it before age 59 and a half, you'll face a 10% penalty on top of regular income taxes. That means if you withdraw $65,000, a large portion of that disappears immediately. Over several years, you could lose tens of thousands of dollars just for accessing your own money early. So now you're forced into a tough decision. Either keep working in a job you no longer enjoy, or accept a huge financial hit. That's not freedom. That's a system that controls your timeline. Why the system feels outdated? To understand why this happens, you need to look at how the system was originally designed. The 401k was introduced decades ago, when most people had stable careers and pensions. The expectation was simple. You work until your 60s, then retire and start using your savings. But the world has changed. Today, pensions are rare. People switch careers more often. Many want to retire earlier, or at least have the option to step away from work. At the same time, a large number of people are forced to retire earlier due to health issues, layoffs, or family responsibilities. Despite all these changes, the rules around retirement accounts stayed the same. The hidden risk of doing everything right. Here's where things get interesting. Most people think that if they just follow the standard advice, they'll be fine. Save aggressively, invest in index funds, and max out retirement accounts. But what they don't realize is that they're making a very specific bet. They're betting that they will work until at least 59 and a half, because if they don't, their money becomes difficult and expensive to access. That's the part nobody emphasizes. You can have a large net worth and still feel financially stuck. And that's exactly what happens when all your wealth is tied up in accounts with restrictions. The bridge account concept. This is where the bridge account completely changes the game. A bridge account is simply a regular investment account that you fund with after-tax money. There are no age restrictions, no penalties, and no complicated rules. You can invest in stocks, index funds, or ETFs just like you would in a retirement account. The only difference is flexibility. If you need the money at 45, you can use it. If you need it at 50, it's available. There's no waiting for a specific birthday. How the three-bucket strategy works. A simple way to understand this is by thinking in terms of three buckets. The first bucket is your traditional retirement accounts, like a 401k or IRA. These give you tax benefits but are locked until later in life. This is your flexible money. No restrictions, no penalties, full control. Most people focus almost entirely on the first bucket. But if you want true financial freedom, the third bucket is just as important. A real-life example of the strategy. Let's say someone wants to retire at 50. There's a gap of about 9 to 10 years before they can access their retirement accounts without penalties. If their yearly expenses are $60,000, they need roughly $600,000 in their bridge account to cover that period. That money acts as a cushion. It allows them to live comfortably without touching their 401k early. Meanwhile, their retirement accounts continue growing in the background. This creates a smooth transition instead of a stressful situation where they're forced to make tough financial decisions. Why flexibility matters more than taxes. One of the biggest reasons people avoid taxable accounts is because of taxes. But here's the truth. Flexibility often matters more than tax savings. In a taxable account, you only pay taxes on gains, and often at lower rates if you hold investments long-term. In some cases, especially for early retirees with moderate income, those taxes can be surprisingly low. The trade-off you need to understand. Building a bridge account requires a shift in thinking. Instead of putting every extra dollar into your 401k, you may need to split your savings. Contribute enough to your 401k to get the full employer match because that's free money. Then direct additional savings into your bridge account. Yes, you might pay slightly more in taxes today. How to start building your bridge? If this makes sense to you, the next step is taking action. Start by deciding your ideal retirement age. Then calculate how many years you need to cover before accessing your retirement accounts. Estimate your yearly expenses and multiply them by those years. That gives you a rough target for your bridge account. Once you have that number, break it down into monthly savings. The biggest mistake people make is thinking retirement is only about how much money they have, but timing matters as much as the amount. Money you can't access isn't as useful as money you can. That's why the bridge account is so important. It gives you options, it gives you control, and most importantly, it gives you freedom. Because at the end of the day, financial success isn't just about building wealth. It's about being able to use that wealth when it actually matters. If this opened your eyes to a new way of thinking about retirement, make sure to like this video and subscribe for more content like this. And if you know someone who's been saving aggressively but hasn't thought about early access, share this with them. Because the goal isn't just to retire rich, it's to retire free. I'll see you in the next one.